Radio check, radio check. Work is in the AO. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Glad you can join us today for another round 2 of Motorsport Manager Season 2024. Trying to pace myself after a day of rest. The restless rest, to be honest. Mostly because of the weather and all that. I guess when it's getting closer to the peak of the winter season, things can get pretty drastic. Not much of a rest, really. Like, trying to. Anyway, last time we were here in Motorsport Manager, we managed to get a pretty close win for both our drivers. Though Perez, which is our second driver, isn't exactly going too high, being stuck somewhere in the lower half of the top 10, while Vosu is hanging on to a very thin top racer lead, I think. I need to double check. Where's our standings? Nope, Vosu went down by 1 point. Oh no, he's still up. But we're down by 1 point behind Silver Racing. At least it's a bit closer compared to the previous run prior to Tondela. We did manage to score some points there. Perez at 7th, Vosu at 1st. 7 points ahead of the previous drivers' champion, Gansler. Ramsey rounding out the top 3, who's behind 19 points. Now, things can get a little crazier here because apparently the Ardennes are going to be wet and very wet for the weekend. So we got to have a little more practice on the wet zone here. Not too confident about this one since both of our drivers aren't exactly well trained for super wet conditions. So here's hoping they don't slip up and disappear. And here's hoping the weather is only going to stay like that in the Ardennes because anything beyond that is going to be a bit of a problem. Munich was already hard on dry runs, but if it gets wetter again, there's a good chance we might lose more points than we are already losing. Engine update, we've still got 6 days before the next engine part is ready for fitting and fixing. Since we just came out of the previous leg, the engineering team is still working on fixing the cars, which, by the way, suffered some pretty drastic car performance drops. 23 for Vosu, 37 for Perez. Vosu's nurse ability really helping him stay alive further. Okay, car repair is now complete. We can probably focus on fixing stuff. What the heck is going on over there? Calvin Griffin hated by own mechanics. The ERS may not be a popularity contest, but it generally helps if drivers aren't completely despised by their mechanics. However, at Zambelli Engineering, things are getting nasty. Griffin is a complete prat, an anonymous source told us. You can talk to the guy like a normal. You can't talk to the guy like a normal human being. He lives in La La Land. What do you expect when they get paid millions a year? Car repairs are now done. They're working on performance and reliability for the new parts we have. Reliability a bit more on spec parts there. We can't really use this front wing, unfortunately, because it's got a penalty on it. Don't want to lose that. Now, slot 6. Oh, we're already done with that. Let's see, we got Hypertech, Silverdo, and Rovelli and Company. Hypertech can go for a 14 race deal with an upfront payment of $500,000 and a fixed pay of $500,000 per race. So that's okay. 20 plus 5. That's $7 million for 14 races. Yeah, okay, $7 million for 14 races sounds good. How about this? Silverdo has 8 races with an upfront of $350 and a fixed pay of $250. Yeah, that's not gonna do much. Yeah, okay, I think it's a pretty obvious choice. We're going to Hypertech for this one. They got the money, they got bills, and they got upfront. Where are they showing up? Okay, somewhere on the rear canopy. What the heck is happening with Antarctic there on the body? The heck? I think the mix-up on the colors did something to it. Yeah, trying to be a shiner or some stuff because of the way the color is mixed up over here in the body. Any hoot, that's one down. Let's save it. I'm trying to be a bit more cautious here, mostly because we are on thin ice since we told the chairman that we would get third or better by the end of this season. Now that's a hard bargain to ask, even if we're in spec part land right now with 4 out of 6 parts in spec mode, mostly because Garuda Racing is ahead of us in performance, and there's Silver Racing, which have better drivers and crew. So unless we get really confident, or we get some miracles done out here, there's a really good chance we could fail the chairman. We're gonna get some ultimatums to work with. Scouting. And engine design is complete. Let's see what we got. Okay, gonna help the reliability team 2 days before the race. Yeah, I'll take that. New engine parts are gonna be there. Okay. Noor Abubakar will be a quality driver in the European Racing Series. She has a decent amount of potential, which should help us to see some improvement in her skills. She's pretty smooth, but she's controversial. Oh no. It's her problem. Race sprinkler. Oh. Oh no. Yeah, no, buddy, sorry. I'm not a fan of race sprinklers myself, so I don't think I'm gonna sign her either way, even if we had the money. Stephanie Buchalski would be one of the weakest drivers in the series, but her potential is good, though, and given this chance to improve, she could certainly become one of the better drivers. She's good at braking, which means she'll have no trouble with high-speed corners, but she is terrible at feedback, which means she won't be useful in practice at all. He's good in Dubai, though, which is nice, but just one course, and it had to be the high-speed Dubai course. Cornering, though. Good braking, but the cornering is a bit low. Okay, the engine parts are complete. Anybody else? I think that's everybody. No more new guys for the season, I'm afraid. It had to be really low-quality drivers, too. Okay, check the car. It's not a violation engine, right? Yep, it's not. Just need to improve the reliability on that one. I can probably remove this one. Replace that with the engine. Brakes as well. Now the performance, though, is going to be a bit, still a bit high, or a bit low, rather. Oh, no, it's still high enough. That's a good thing. Let's get something done there. Or improve the reliability and then improve the performance. Now, who wants this engine? Okay, let's go with Perez for this one. She'll have a better performing engine. Reliability will have to wait, though. And for the next part... No, I think we're already done with development. We can focus now on building illegal parts and then save the rest of the money that we get, if we ever get any more, for upgrading our HQ, I think. If we can get enough money for the motor factory, that is. Design center is, how long is it gonna take for it to be available? It says 30 weeks total, right? Upgrade building, design center. It's currently upgrading. 20 more weeks to go. We're still too far out. Can't take advantage of that, but I suppose since we built it right now, we don't have to worry about the extra cost for the time being. So for now, I think we can. Can we build something else that's illegal? No, I think we're not the engine, not the front wing. We can't make any epic parts from them though, but we can make illegal engines for next season. So I need something with top speed and low red zone. Tops. Oh, that's 4 slots. Excellent. Don't go with a to max engine upgrade because you're gonna have to work on improving that after it's built. So let's go with something like this. Build time 2 days. Top speed 60. Yes, yes, this is what I need. It's gonna cost us though. Will be worth it in the end, I feel. Yep. The chairman will definitely not be happy to see that number. Right. God. Currently second best as far as engines go, but we're still second best. For some reason, Sempelli Engineering is now top in terms of parts performance, which is quite surprising considering that Garuda Racing was in the European and the Asia Pacific Super Cup and had to be demoted. 21 days for the new engine to be available. Not much of an issue there. That's an illegal part, so we don't really need to worry about it. Let's see. Oh, the Asia Pacific Super Cup did their runs in the Ardennes. Let's go over to the World Motorsport Championship first. Yep, Steinman totally dominating here with Lipponen still on top and his teammate Tanakuchi grabbing second for this one. Surprisingly, it's not Parisi getting third. It's rather it's his teammate Barnley White scoring 44 points needed for the team to stay in the running. He's 80 seconds behind Lipponen, surprisingly. What are these numbers really? 42? 42 minutes? What? Huh? What the heck's going on with these numbers? Are they running taxis or something? Anyway, on points we have Lipponen at 32. He's been dominating all season so far. Tanakuchi is at second with 28 points, and Parisi, who failed to get in the top 3, he's at fourth though, down to 16 points. Doesn't look too hot for Scuderia Rossini so far. Meanwhile, on the Asia Pacific Super Cup front, we got Molly Fox scoring 12 points for Kirov. Thornton Motorsports Pereira gets 8 points and after going second, and Ozu Motors Hana Amachi Osland managed to score third. Those numbers don't really feel right to me. Nonetheless, MRT Valbuena's Krantz is still top of the poll. This is probably the first, no, it's not exactly the first time Fox managed to score a point this season, but this whole finish managed to give her a boost to second, pushing down Ribeiro and Pereira. Firebird MRT finally on the board here, getting 7 through Sylvander, but his veteran teammate Parker is still scoreless after 4 runs in the Asia Pacific Super Cup. Not exactly a good look for the once promising European Racing Series driver. Right. How are we on Chairman Happiness? Not too much. Down to 95% here. Pit crew still awful. Sponsors, second best behind Archer. Staff is fourth best. Headquarters, second best. Lucatelli is definitely increasing their capabilities here. Driver is now second worst on the grid. Car is now second best. Not looking too hot for our team in the front lines. Oh, performance is done. Perfect. Okay, let's see how it's gonna go. 4 days after the race. I think we can get this one out. But everything else definitely needs some work. There's the Ardennes. Oh, here's from the front. Be a 22-lap race, which means we can still do one stop for both our drivers here. Length is 3.61, lap record 1 minute 29, which confuses me. Oh, which confuses me about the lap speeds uh with the other series today or so far. Like, why are they so slow? Taking an hour to finish one lap. I feel like the switch up to spec parts for our current series or our current class is affecting the other classes in a weird way, making them way slower than they should be. Well, anyway, that's none of our concern right now. Our concern is trying to stay up above third. It's a high-speed circuit, which should suit cars with strong engines. Looking around the paddock, it seems that we have the best engine around, so that should stand us in good stead. Hopefully. The tire compounds chosen for this race are super soft and soft. The track is quite abrasive, but our car is one of the best on the grid when it comes to tire wear, so we should be well placed to benefit from that. That's all from them. Ooh. My assistants tell me that we've snagged some of the most lucrative sponsorship deals around. The rest of the teams and then the ERS are struggling to compete with us, so keep it up. That makes the chairman happy. Problem is, that does not always equate victories in the races themselves. We gotta be a bit more careful here. So here's the idea. We could either go for full speed for Vosu and for full endurance for Perez as is the usual, or if we're lucky, since we're going to be using wets apparently, there is a good chance we could just stick over. Oh, we could just stick to the usual stuff. And by the usual stuff, I mean we can probably go full speed for both of them, pushing on the tires since the in the tire wear for wet seems to be a bit low, at least as far as our drivers are concerned. So let's hope that could give us some more points. Oh, let's see what's on the pre-race preview. Okay, Zampelli is definitely slated to get a win here. Second place driver, Gansler from Silver Racing, told us that the Drivers' Championship isn't over until it's over, and I know I have what it takes to beat Boss Sue. Very likely. There's a good chance he can grab the win here. Octane Racing will be hoping to see some improvements this week in the Ardennes, as the circuit offers them a chance to pick up some valuable points. Silvera definitely having some concerns about that. Speaking of concerns, yes, Chief. I hear ya. Here we go. Hang on. Okay. Are we good for this? I feel really good, to be honest. Reliability improvements. We've still got a day before we can finish that. How are we on parts, though? 3 hours after the race, unfortunately. Parts fitting seems to be okay still. Almost 100% reliability, and the performance is better. 141 to be honest. We could probably get another front wing once we're done, so that we can go for a good part setup here. Then we can get the other illegal parts ready once the season ends. Okay. Okay, here's a problem. Looks like the bonus pool has dropped significantly, no thanks to both the increase in costs and, what do you call it? We got problems with the increase in costs and the fact that they're not providing us with some pretty good stuff for supplies. Now, we could risk it with Trans-Antarctic, or we can stay with Condor Telecoms and just reduce our post-race profit or loss. So their change would be a better chance of just going over here. So why is our profit and losses so low here? Sponsor bonuses, because of the pit crew, I see. Pit crew, travel cost, HQ upkeep and staff, designer, race mechanics, drivers, next year's car. Okay, let's risk it and go for Trans-Antarctic. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to save this here so that we'll have enough of a fallback point should things go awry in the actual race. Now the parts seem to be working okay, so no need to worry about that. Now let's go into practice. Hopefully we'll get the sweet spots early so that we don't have to worry about making last-minute adjustments before the race proper. Now, if things start to get real wet out here on the front lines this early, uh-oh, not looking good. Looks like the forecaster. Wait, hang on. There's a chance that it'll rain by the time the weather changes. Okay, let's switch them around. I need more speed somewhere around here. Let's downforce maybe. Entire choice, switch him around. I need him to be super soft. While Bukalova in the practice rig will be needing to go into soft. Soft, and that should be it. Let's see if we'll get something good out of this. We're going to switch them around as soon as the weather changes, so let's just go ahead with the current load up we have right here. Oh, dang, that's a quick switch on the cloudiness there. We might not get anything out of this before we hit the 6-minute mark. Anyway, here we go on softs and super softs for both our drivers. Coming out of the first S-turn, going to the lazy chicane here. Not lazy chicane, lazy hairpins. And just like that, we're already wet. Dang it. It's gonna be rainy for at least the rest of the practice run, so we're gonna have to get them in as soon as possible. Not much to learn here on the first minute. Should have just kept them on wet the whole time, to be honest. Okay. At least we did get something out of that. It looks like Bukalova's gonna need some more adjustments. A bit more downforce might be needed. A little more speed. The handling could definitely use a bit there. Longer run. Some understeer might be needed. Okay, keep the stints on the same spot, but we'll go for wets now. Bubba, meanwhile, definitely needs some work here. She's only got okay parts on her. Or okay responses, that is. A bit more top speed should be enough. Some handling. Keep the same stints, stick to wets. What I need is race trim, not wheel performance. So we're gonna have to work with that. Let's get out there, boys and girls. Everybody else has already set up their lines, but we got Love Baklua and Hornblade on inters. Everybody else on softs and super softs. We'll see how things go once we start rolling with the wet work here. It's gonna be wet for most of the race, though it'll dry up a bit at the half-time mark. We're already down to 8.5 minutes in practice. Not much in setup knowledge by the looks of it. Ooh, that's a lot of wetness there. Let's see how it goes for both of our drivers. Vidal and Esteva trying to fight off on top times there, but it looks like Bilyu got a bit of a jump there, but he's still 1 minute behind. Arrow is feeling so much nicer now. Okay, that's a good sign. I feel like Downforce has got a bit worse with his setup. Okay, let's bring her back in as soon as possible. See if we can change things up. Bring her down to softs again. Looks like it's gonna be dry for the rest of the race apparently. Bosu is now down to 19th because he hasn't done anything. Okay, speed balance feeling much better now, guys. Thanks. We need to get Bukalova in as soon as possible because we're past the 6-minute mark. Downforce is poor. Handling is excellent though, so that's going to be a good sign. We just need to work out what's best for the downforce. Maybe we need to trim it down a bit more. It's too much downforce, I suppose. Okay, let's see what happens if we stick to this and then switch her back to soft. It's gonna take a while to fix that though. Okay, that's Wasu currently first, a good jump for that, but we're gonna have to bring him in now so we can switch over to the dry tires. Well, Alpaclua jumped over Wasu there. But that's a very minuscule lead. 0.007 tenths of a second. Pretty tight jump over there. Really happy with the gear ratios at least. Alright, so we just need to work on the speed balance so that it'll be at least green. So probably a little less on the acceleration. Or probably a little more, I don't know. Switch the stint, no, keep the stints up, switch him over to super softs again, and let's see if he can get through the race with at least a little more setup knowledge. We're still at level 1 setup race trim though, and we've only got 4 minutes left, so we need to work this thing fast. Bukalova hasn't gone out on her time yet. Oh, Silvera showing some problems there, so is Schober. Chu goes up to 3rd, and Takabayashi is now at 4th. Most of the race leaders from earlier have dropped down significantly. 5 seconds behind. Yep, it's going to be dry for the rest of the run. Okay. Tweaks of downforce are great. Wasu drops down to 14th. Mostly because he hasn't set up a new time yet. Surprisingly, he's still on top of the leaderboards. Technically speaking, since everybody else is behind him. Although Lalpaclua got ahead of him for a bit there. Now we're very dry and there's going to be a lot of grip to the end. Gear ratios are just right. Looks like we're seeing some improvement there at least. Now if we can get Bukalova up to 3rd, we can probably use the last 2 minutes or the last 1 minute 30 of practice to at least get us to level 3 race trim. Here's hoping we can actually get some good numbers out of that. Wasu is down to 17th. Bukalova is now on top. That new engine doing wonders. And there's Griffin with a .183 jump over Bukalova. And Wasu shows up out of nowhere, getting 0.2 of a second ahead of his teammate. Race ending. Oh, crud. Looks like we couldn't get this to, we couldn't get our drivers up to race trim level 3, I'm afraid. Too much changing. Let's see if we can work some magic here till the end. Second place, no, Bukalova's too far out. We can't really go beyond 3. Not a good sign for our drivers here today. Even though they're pretty much first and third in practice, there's a good chance it will change in the actual race. We have some supporters in the socials, though. Griffin's still ready to go for that pole. Really putting Bossu on the crosshairs now. Tianuna, rubbish session for the poor guy. Gansler also not happy about his time there. Esteva's definitely in the winner's circle by looks of it, though, since she's got some notes in the news, so we got to keep an eye out for that. We're currently wet, though. Not super wet as the weather forecast predicted, but wet nonetheless. So there's a good chance that we might not really need to switch things out. So I think we could just stick over to our super soft setup. Nice trim, quick fixes. Gonna switch the tires up. Ooh, good numbers all around mostly. Just need to change the tires a bit more. No, not Vosu. We're going for softs with Perez here. Hopefully that won't kill our vibe. Remember, it's a one-stop race. If we can keep it at that, there's a good chance we'll be able to get some higher points here and keep our position intact. Review grid of the grid. We got Hornblade and Griffin here leading the pack, being the ones in the back there. Tianuna and Alpeclua going for second row. Third row, we got the once again promising Fandi, who's jumping a couple of places from being nearly dead last in the previous season. We got Lormore for Garuda at 6th. 4th row, we got Schober and Marsh. 5th row, we got Silvera and Sa, two devastatingly dangerous drivers here in the middle pack for some reason. Newbie Takabayashi is sharing the 6th row with veteran El Sadat, who's now in 9th. A really good turnaround for the Egyptian, who had some serious trouble from last season. Now, 7th row, our second driver, Perez, is sharing the spot 2. 8th row, we got Bilyu and Vidal. 9th row, we got Esteva and Ramsey, two other veterans who are ready to snatch top from both Gansler and Wasu, who are currently in the 10th. Here's hoping we can actually get some good numbers out of this. And the lights out, and we're rolling. Looks like most of the drivers have also decided to stick to their usual stuff. Good acceleration for Wasu there. He's now at 19th. Perez, meanwhile, also got some jump ups, and she's now 13th, but the wetness of the road means that somebody just ran over or ran around. Looks like somebody ran wide. Who is it? Uh-oh, Tien Nuna not only having a rubbish practice session, he just went over the first corner, and he's struggling to get back in. Yup, that's a bit of a wide spot, and he's now way behind everybody else. Nico Tianuna getting left behind there. The weather conditions definitely not helping his lap times and his control. For some reason, Gansler is driving behind. Looks like he's trying to keep things calm for his parts. He might be pushing a little too much, or he'll be pushing for this later. Wait, what? What's going on over there? Okay, so here's the problem. If Gansler is sitting back like this, there's a good chance he's got a good winning tactic in place here. Meanwhile, for the rest of the pack, there's a bit of a breakaway here. Top 10 already splitting up mostly, but the lower half are still stuck in traffic. Hornblad trying desperately to run away from everybody else, but he's pushing his car a little too far and too hard here. Vandy keeping things a bit behind, but he's not really doing too hot on the tire front as well. Griffin getting a bit better there, but he is not exactly getting ahead of Vandy just yet. Lormore is now a full second behind the race leaders here, pretty much leading the mid-pack. Perez somehow jumped ahead again, but I think she's going to drop again because Chu didn't like that. Oh no! Ramsey also taking advantage of everything else over there. Well, Sue almost got overtaken. Perez losing 14 to Esteban in that corner. Ramsey out of nowhere overtaking both of our drivers, and now Ganser wisely staying behind to stay away from the chaos. Perez drops to 17th as Ramsey still has the position up there. Now we're going on a downhill chicane. Things aren't looking too hot this early in the race. Ooh. A bit of a tight squeeze there. Couldn't take advantage of it much, but Perez still manages to sneak one over Vidal. Not exactly having a good time with the straights, though, as Vidal still has a better engine. And now we're starting lap 2 with Vosu taking 18th for some reason, despite the fact that he's already 18th already. I don't know what's going on over there. Oh, who's that on there? Looks like Takabayashi is having some car problems and he's slowing down now. What's going on? The tire temperature is still the same, not much to worry about tire wear. Ooh, good clean racing between teammates, I like it. It's like Vosu just jumped over Perez now, and Perez is down to 18th. But can they get back into the middle? Doesn't look like it, though. Oh. She says, while just jumping over Vosu there, it looks like we got Ganser ready and willing to push up further now. Although his engine is still pretty low. I have no idea what's going on over there. Ooh, Perez jumps over Vidal again. Still a bit of a traffic jam here in the middle, that is. Hornblad and Fondy still on top. There's a good chance we're going to lose money here today, probably. As we start lap 3. 20 laps to go. And Vidal is still keeping Vosu from 17th. Keeping pace with Perez with his good engine here. Not much to work with as far as cornering is concerned, since both of our drivers are currently sticking to medium driving. A lot of grips expected around lap 6 and beyond, so that's going to be helpful in getting more speed up on the track as it dries up. Oof! Nope! Good defending from Vidal there. Unfortunately, Vosu didn't accelerate properly, and now he failed to overtake on that corner. Perez having a bit of a fight with Takabayashi on the chicane as well, failing to land the corner overtake, and now she's stuck at 16th again. As we start lap 4, not much of a change for the middle pack, although Schauber jumps over Sa and Elsadot drops to 8th. Ugh. Vidal definitely is trying to stay in the tail end there. Just a bit more dampness, and things will really run up now for every driver here. Alright, Ganser is now in medium as well. And he's still got a good number on his tires, 83% on tire wear, despite the fact that he was pushing it to... Oh, wait. He wasn't pushing his tires to the limit. He was actually just keeping them in low for the time being. There was a good chance he might get first here by playing conservatively with his tires in the early laps. Almost got one over Vidal, couldn't land it. And now Vosu is having difficulty keeping Ganser away from him. Meanwhile, Tianuna has managed to close the gap a bit, but he's still 12 seconds behind Hornblad. That makes it a second and probably 1.8 seconds behind our drivers here. But he's closing in significantly thanks to the corners. Perez is now still at 16th as we approach lap 5. Having difficulty taking over Takabayashi's spot here. Looks like driver skill is showing up even further as the pretty promising Japanese brethren is, or the pretty promising Japanese rookie rather, is making it much more difficult for the veteran drivers to get ahead of him. Surprisingly, still a bit of a tight squeeze here in the fifth lap. And Wasu is already complaining about not being able to push past Vidal for 3 laps. I don't think he's focusing on keeping Ganser away from him. Tianuna has now closed the gap, and he's part of the race again, mostly. Ooh, good cornering from Vidal there, and he is now at 16th thanks to that. And he's just about ready to break away as he has a better spot. He has a better engine for straights compared to ours. As we start lap 6 with a poor showing for our drivers there. The Vosu did get a personal best lap from that previous run. Yeah, Tianuna has been told to slow down a bit. Looks like they're trying to keep him, they're trying to keep him in the race for longer because he pushed his car to the limit just to get back with the rest of the pack. He's now conserving his tires and going low and slow on the engines. Vosu and Vidal. Oh no, Vosu and Ganser had a bit of a fight there, and now Ganser is ahead of Vosu again. Not exactly looking too hot for our drivers, and Tianuna seems like he's about ready to jump in as well. Hornblood and Findley still on top. Lormore and Griffin, not much would change here, but Silvera is pretty much ready to jump into the top 4 here. Now it's start lap 7, and things have not looked too good for our drivers so far. Perez just couldn't land her overtakes, and Vosu having trouble getting ahead on the straights. Oh, good corner overtake there, though. Question is, can he keep it? All right, Vosu seems to be having some gaps on the straights there. Just couldn't land. Looks like Tianuna just jumped ahead of both Vosu and Ganser here. And he is now at 18th as we approach lap 8. Wait, Esteva? Esteva went down at 16th. What the heck's going on? 15 laps to go as we start lap 8. Tire wear is a bit okay so far. I think we can still push it a bit further. Since we're going for a lap 11 run here, no, let's keep it. Well, we need to drop Perez down a bit. Probably, how's parts conditions on her side? Still looking decent. Maybe we can push her at high. Same way with Vosu. His tires are getting real hot right now, so we can go for conservative tire wear and a bit more of a push on the engines. Fortunately, Tianuna is in block mode, so Vosu is having a hard time getting ahead of that. Really bad mid-race here for both of our drivers so far. Just need to get those tires a bit colder now that we're pushing in for full track grip, which means that, well, extra tire grip means that there is more speed at the cost of tire wear. Now, the problem is, going slow at this rate is not looking too hot for our drivers as Gansler takes over Vosu's spot on that end of the chicane, and Perez is just about ready to lose her 17th place to Tianuna. Nobody has gone for a pit yet. Oh wait, never mind. We got Fundy coming in as well as Hornblad. Looks like the race leaders have finally switched out their tires. We just have to be a bit more conservative for 2 more laps as we start lap 9 with 41% left on Vosu's Super Softs and 49% left on Perez's soft tires. And now Perez... What? Uh-oh. That's not a good sign. Hornblad's on fire in the pit lane. He's probably out of the race now. Yep, definitely no sign of the... Ooh, that's not good. Hornblad's teammate Silvera is stuck in the pit lane because her teammate is on fire. Doesn't look like they can fix him just yet. Perez and Vosu now up thanks to the problem here, but Gansler is just about ready to run over. Doesn't look like anybody from Octane Racing knows what's happening. Oop. Despite the fire, Hornblad is out of the pit and is back in the race. I have no idea what they're thinking over in Octane for that to be a thing. But it looks like they're ready to risk it just to get some more points out, as they've been struggling all season. Oof, Perez couldn't keep it, and she's now overtaken by Tia Nuna. So she's still fighting with she's still fighting with the other vet. Ah. Esteva blocked her as well, making it a bit difficult to get back in the lanes. Now, starting lap 10th, tire wear is starting to be an issue here. We can probably switch over a bit, or we can wait until Gansler switches out as well. Switch over probably around lap 11. Can't get past Perez, huh? Oof, risky overtake there for Perez, but very rewarding, rather, as she gets one over Esteva on that chicane. Or not that chicane, that small hairpin. Now she's trying to get back on overtake, but looks like Tia Nuna is now paying for that push-up as he is about to go for a pit switch. 18% down to 18% on tires. Vosu, meanwhile, drops to 17th as Gansler is starting to get really hungry. I don't think Perez can keep her position here. Especially when Esteva is still on the corner and ready to push out. 57 seconds behind because of that fire, and 71 seconds behind because she was left behind due to the pit lane traffic. Not looking too hot for Octane so far. Meanwhile, we still need to work on getting our drivers back in the lane so we can at least get back to third. Vosu gets one over Tia Nuna, who has been told to lower things down a bit so that he can fix his car. And now Esteva is ready to get one over Perez, who's just about ready to pass the start-finish lane as we start lap 11. Sending Vosu in first. Fuel stops. 10 seconds on the fuel. I don't think we need to worry about any of the parts for Vosu just yet. Gonna be safe or balanced? Not much of a difference. Let's go for safe. So I think, no. Keep it safe. Perez will go for another lap, and then she'll switch out to Super Softs after this. Or a lap or two, maybe. And then she'll switch out to Super Softs. No, she'll go after Vosu, and then she'll probably go to Softs still. Not looking too hot for Perez there. Almost got overtaken by Esteva again. Gaz are ready to run it. And Ramsey going down to slow, trying to keep the other drivers behind him. But there's a good chance Perez can overtake him here. Nope. Somehow or other, Perez bungled that overtake, and now she's well behind Ramsey on that run. See some time wear now with Vosu down to 23%. Now he is in the pit lane. Perez is now in 9th. Tire temperature is now middle. Fuel is still good at 6.95 laps to go. We can probably keep this run up. Oh no! There's a mistake on the front wheel. Bosu is now down to 16th because of that tire mistake. Not exactly looking too hot for him. Oh, 15th rather. How's Gansler looking on the numbers? Right. Keep him going down to medium. Ganser is still pretty decent, 36% on tires. Fuel is still good as well. Schober is stuck at 19th. Somehow or other, Bosu managed to jump to 15th, taking over Tianuna for some reason. Now, there is only a question of whether we should put Perez in now or wait for the rest of the drive to go. I'm worried about Ganser, to be honest. He's the one who's a bit of a pace setter here, and there's a good chance he can get his 11 points if we manage to bungle our stops here. But if we can at least keep him away for the rest of the race, rather. Nope. Ganser almost got a win over Perez on that corner, but too bad Perez was in the right place at the right time to block him. And now we're starting lap 13 with a very, very precarious lead. Chu goes into a pit lane with a repair queue as well. Can Vosu take advantage of that? Nope, he's a little too far out. Still halfway across the course. Perez is now down to 28%, pushing still. And we've managed to get an overtake over Gansler for 8th place here. Vosu, somehow or other, is at 15th. What the heck? Now he's up to 14th, getting over Chu, who somehow stayed in the pit lane for a bit too long after that repair setup. Ramsey's still pretty much ahead, using his engine power to his advantage, despite the fact that he is down to conservative... Oh, wait, no. Yeah, he's down on conservative driving. His tires, though, are getting pushed to the limit. Meanwhile, we're on the opposite side of things, pushing our car a little further for Perez here, while keeping the tires on a conservative run. Things might need a bit of a change here, as we're down at 25%. I think we can switch over to Super Sauce for this one, keep them in the lines. Anything we can fix? That's not too much. Alright, let's go for low speed corners. We can fix that and keep it in safe. That's going to be a bit of a pace setter there, as Marsha and Bill Yu are down on their tires, and looks like they're going for a pit lane as well. El Sadat still rolling with his 26%. Sa down in 23rd, but not asking for a pit lane. Meanwhile, Takabayashi wisely choosing to get into the box for now. Vidal somehow getting 33% despite pushing his tires a little further in. I think it's time to get this guy a little further up here. Gans are just about ready to push up. Meanwhile, Bosu might be good with neutral wheels now, as we keep things up for the next 9 laps. We're starting lap 14 here. No error for Perez on that exit, but she's now down to 13th after that pit lane. Oh, really? Looks like it's going to be wet for the next race, so we're going to switch over. Keeping the fuel options on the same side, no change on pit strategy. Right, solid front wing there for, how's Bossu doing on tracks? Looks like he's ahead. Perez might need to switch over to wets at this point, so we'll have to get her back in, unfortunately. That's one of the problems with the, that is one of the problems with having no forecasting center. Things are gonna, things are going to be a bit of a problem when predicting the weather patterns, and it looks like the storm is approaching, with provoking black clouds over on the other side of the map. But a very, very late storm, which is not exactly good for our drivers here, as Vosu... Oh wait, no, let's keep Perez out of the pit for the time being. Vosu trying to get one over Takabayashi, but unfortunately, he couldn't snatch it at the last second. Takabayashi still blocking. No oh, he's always switched to wet, so there's a bit of an issue there. Oh, good overtake for Takabayashi. Perez up to 11th. Can't we at least keep her on the road for another lane here? Probably not. Now Vosu is in 18th because of the switch out. Perez is up to 11th. Can we keep her on the road for this? Oh no! Bilyu's having engine problems. Vosu down in 19th after switching out for softs. As we now approach lap 16. Okay, going for laps, 7 laps remaining on the 9 here as we approach lap 16. Things are starting to get real wet on the roads. Could be a bit of a risk factor now that we kept Perez on the road as well. Gandler dropped Gandler's potential endpoint here has dropped to 3rd for some reason, mostly because of that pit stop, I assume. But he's still getting into it, and he is now ahead of... Who was that? Oh, Schober! He got one over Schober. Things looking a bit risky here for Perez, as she is still dry here in lap 16. Most of the other drivers have switched out to wets. Vosu is still at 18th. Did take advantage of Silveira pushing up ahead there. Question is, can he get back into it? Everybody else is already in wets, though. Nope, I don't think we... There's a good chance we might have to restart this because of a bit of a problem with the switch-out. Mondi is now on top. Vidal on top. Lopakluwa at second. No, it's Sa. Perez is now on 4th. 6 laps to go, and the road is really, really wet. Can she keep it? Vosu jumping ahead of 3 drivers. He is now in 15th, but he can't get past Tianuna. Or can he? Looks like he's ahead now. Down up to 14th. Tire wear is starting to be an issue for both of our drivers. Looks like that temperature change isn't really doing much. Now Perez is up to 4th. She's still driving in softs. Silva... Great things are going, though. There's a good chance she might get some points up ahead and keep us in 3rd as we start lap 18. Things are starting to get real wet out here. Tire temperature also becoming an issue. Maybe not. Let's see if we can keep her on the road for the next race, for the end of the race. Looks like nah. Nope, nope, nope. I'm going to restart this. That was a bad read on the situation on my part. I did not expect a late game. I did not expect a late game storm, which is a bit of a bad problem. But I personally don't think I need to invest in in a forecast center just yet. I really need the money so I can make a road car factory. The main issue is because it was a late race storm, I did not expect things to suddenly change out quite quickly. So we couldn't really take it. We couldn't really keep the drivers on the road for much longer than that. And that pretty much ate any of our chances to stay in the race at a good pace. Got no other choice but to restart that. Hopefully this time we'll get the race trim we need, and we also will have no problems with the weather. Because as you all know, I mostly do one-stop races on the Ardennes. Have done so for the past 3 or 4 seasons. Okay, now we're getting some cloudiness in the road again. I think we're gonna go for inters for time being. Okay, Vosu and Bukalova again. I need those roads up. Keep them as super softs, and then we got Bukalova. So understeer out that. Wait, do we want to stick them in softs, or do we want to get them in inters? No, okay, let's stick them in their softs and super softs for the time being. And then when things start to get really wet, and then we're going to switch them out. Let's hope we get a good setup knowledge for both of our drivers early on. Track wear will be will be a bit of a problem though, or track grip rather, as it drops pretty early. Start lap 10. Oh, that's a little too quick. Dang it! Now let's keep them in the road like this. Just get them in one out lane. Aero's feeling great right now, just the right setup. Speed's gonna be a bit low because they're currently driving in really wet conditions, but there's gonna be a bit of a drop there. But there's a drop in wetness after the 6th minute, so I think we're just gonna keep this out here. Road is soaked. That means they're gonna drop in speed as well, but at least they're getting some setup knowledge done first. Definitely gonna need some change out there. Gonna send Bukalova in for the first change out. She's not getting the setup knowledge fast enough. Halfway through practice and we're still in level 1 of race trim bonuses, so definitely need to switch up things here. Surprisingly, only Lalpiclua and Hornblooded went out on inters for that run. Okay, so downforce and speed balance need some checking up here. So too high on the downforce maybe. Understeer is great. Should probably get some more acceleration though. Okay, that should keep it. Just need to change their parts, or rather just need to change some of the gear shifting and the engine output there. Now we're dry on the track as we approach the last 4 minutes of practice. Still some time to get some of that setup knowledge up there though. Hopefully that'll be enough to get them in the knowledge boost there. Looks like Bosu is tagging in after his 4-lap stint. Aero boosts feel much nicer now, thankfully. Hopefully that's going to help us. And now we're level 2 on race trim with 2 minutes left on practice. Good chance we can get that level 3, but I sure hope their setup knowledge is higher as well. Need the same adjustments. Downforce and speed balance need to be fixed a bit for Vosu as well. Slightly lower on downforce. Understeer is going great. Reduce the acceleration a bit. No, it's going to be a bit speed, so I think we should go for 94%. 10 seconds on changing, though. Let's hope it doesn't affect him much. Except to provide better setup knowledge here. Last minute, but we're still nowhere near halfway. 20 seconds. Please let Vosu go on an out lap. Please. It's an in lap. Once again, level 2 race trim. I think the weather really affected us there. At least he got 2 purples out of that. Could really use level 3 race trim here, though. See how it went here. That's a fan. This time it's Choose complaining about the practice session. Well, Sue's pretty happy about how things went far. Yeah, that is the question, though. Can he convert the good practice laps into actual race results? Vokalova's car finished 4th for Watson Industries, and we'll be hoping that the strong form continues into the race. And unfortunately, that's going to be Perez's thing. Looks like we're starting things wet now. But not too wet. We can probably keep things in the dry. The race trim level 2 and nurse. Quick fixes and race trim level 2. Fortunately, that's all grains. Definitely could use something better than that, but we'll have to take it as it comes. Switch over to soup, 1 or 2 sauce for the time being, and go. And then I think we can probably go for balanced things so far. And then we'll go push it near the end of the near the middle of the race. And stay at it for the rest of that. Oh, couldn't get to 19th thanks to Esteban blocking the way. Bosu is now stuck in the back. Perez, meanwhile, managed to get some spots in, but she can't keep it up there as Ramsey and Billy jump ahead of her. Now she's down to 17th, thanks to Gansler, who's now ahead of everybody else. Bosu, meanwhile, manages to jump over Esteban and Tianuna, and he is now in 18th. A bit of a change here, mostly because nobody ran over. The Gansler really getting the hunger for a higher spot early in the race, pushing his car a little too far. Well, nonetheless, Tianuna is still pretty far behind. Actually, I think Tianuna ran wide again. They're pretty much the same as last time. Vosu and Perez here in the back, but Perez doesn't look. No, Vosu looks like he's not going to be 18th for long, as Esteban is sneaking ahead, or sneaking just on his right shoulder. Bondi scores fastest lap early on as we start lap 2. But Hornblad is still on top of the box, though. I have no idea why that's a notification. Well, he's been stuck in 18th for the past lap. We drive for a bit more there. Ooh, not looking too hot there. Bosu finally loses 17th, loses 19th. Loses 18th, conceding the place to Esteban. But I guess that was just a trap as he manages to get his position back after that S-curve. Not exactly getting some gaps ahead of Esteva, though. It's not really pushing too hard. Probably push the cars a bit higher, though. Parts conditions still seem to be okay. Let's just keep Perez in normal, while Vosu jumps ahead. Ooh! A bit of a revenge there on that wide chicane, as Esteva is now 19th. Vosu might concede his 19th position as well, because Tia Nuna is really getting into it. Now we start lap 3, with Vosu pushing up now thanks to that switch in strategy, but he can't really keep his positions clean. Silvera and Sa jumping ahead, so is Vidal. Takabayashi dropping in 12th. Ganser going into 13th and getting ready to jump into the top, or the upper half of the grid now. Vosu couldn't snatch it. Esteva blocking him at the last second, getting smart to his traps there. And he can't take advantage of that corner. Now he is down at 20th because Tia Nuna got ahead of him in the middle of that S-curve. Excuse me. Vosu now at the back. Start of lap 4. The strategy change didn't really do much for him. Looks like Ramsey is now down to 16th with Takabayashi jumping ahead of him. Perez having trouble taking advantage of that. Vosu's tires are now down to 74%. Temperature is still pretty decent though, so probably not a good time to concede. Esteva is just about ready to get Perez to concede 17th, however. Couldn't get past Ramsey there. Now on the home turn, as we start lap 5, there's still a bit of a congestion on the middle there. Almost got overtaken by Tia Nuna on that first corner, but she managed to block him at the last second. Might need to get Perez to jump ahead here, just so she can keep her spot as we start lap 5. Fortunately, pushing that car down actually dropped her in standings, and she is now in 18th. Ooh, crap. Ooh. Vosu managed to sneak past Esteva on that corner, and he's now up to 19th. Perez still at 18th, but there's a good chance he can jump over Ramsey here if we get ahead on the straights at the start of lap 17. Nope. Couldn't get past him. Still a bit of a jump up, and now we're seeing some breakaways here on the middle pack. That's Ganser on 12th. A stark change from his previous run when we tried this earlier. Although it looks like he's now starting to be a bit more conservative with his tires, as he is now down to conserve and low on the engine output. Looks like he's going for endurance as much as he is going for speed. Perez and Vosu now 18th and 19th. Nope, Perez couldn't get past. Oh, wait. Perez got one over Ramsey. Now there's a gap between the teammates. Ramsey, no, doesn't look like he's happy about that, and he's trying to get in Perez's skin there. A little too close for comfort, in fact. Might be asking for an accident here. Vosu trying to keep Esteva at the tail end as we start lap 7. Still no sign of a good spot for both of our drivers, but Perez seems to be getting some straight outs now thanks to the order to push. Vosu stuck. Oh! Quick snatch there thanks to the early braking from Ramsey, and now Vosu is in 18th. Getting some more speed boost out here as they try to keep up with the middle of the pack. Vosu seems to be angry with Perez here. Oh! getting some real aggressive overtake there from Vosu, and he is now in 17th, switching places with Perez on that corner. Now some more snaking through the S-turns as we start lap 8 with some switches in spots for our drivers. Up ahead, Hornblood and Fondy are still on top, but things are going to change up a bit here as they start to go for the pits in the next lane. Vosu getting really frisky here with Takabayashi, however. Dang! Some seriously aggressive driving from Vosu, and now he's above Takabayashi. Keeping him away in the corners, not exactly an easy job, even if he's fighting a Dragon Race Team car. That aggression is pushing him further up now, and he is in 15th. Trying to keep Tianuna away from him, though. Now, to start lap 9, we've got some pit lane stops here. Now, Griffin and Lormore are on the top 2. Is there possibly a chance that we can get the sponsor bonus today, I wonder? Nothing on the news here. Speaking of news, apparently the Hololive News channel is getting another announcer today, so I'm gonna try and catch that as well. Looks like Hornblood is once again on fire, and Silvera is once again stuck in traffic because of that. Fondy, meanwhile, managed to get a lap out of that, but he's down to 18th. Very good chance that Hornblood is going to be told to run out again, despite the fact that he has just been turned into Swedish barbecue. Meanwhile, up on the front lines, Tianuna has been ordered to ease up a bit on the engines as he tries to block Takabayashi and Perez here. Things might not look too hot once we reach the next hairpin. Ooh! Almost got it. Too bad it was still a bit of a block, and Vosu also had trouble getting past Marsh. Now Tianuna has been ordered to push ahead. Almost got that one on that corner overtake, just couldn't quite land it. And now with the next hairpin, Vosu gets some more gaps ahead of Tianuna again. Marsh is playing teammate here, trying to block Vosu and keeping some space for Tianuna so that Archer can get some more points up here. Perez has jumped to 15th, however, thanks to some pretty friendly blockings here. But things could jump ahead in the next few runs if everything is as it is right now. Starting lap 10th, it looks like Vosu is just about ready to concede. Oh, he's actually up to 12th. Looks like somebody in the pit. Oh, nope. Change here. Looks like Hornblood was forced to retire after that seriously terrible timing on the fire here. That's going to be another black mark on Octane Racing's 2024 season, as Silvera is now trying desperately to get some points up for her team on her own. Hornblood once again down on the meters, only getting an assured 1 point from this race. Garuda Racing looking mighty fine today with a good chance to jump to 3rd if they finish better than this. That's Perez at 15th, still trying to get up on the lines there. Looks like there is going to be a bit of a change in the weather around lap 16, so maybe, just maybe, we can do a one-stop lap for that, if we're lucky. That's a bit of a question now, as it seems like we might have to send Vosu to the pit lane just a bit. But we can probably hold him in here. Nah, we can just keep it and conserve. I think we're good on tire wear here. Lap 16, lap 10th. A bit of a risk to take here if we go for backup for both our drivers as far as tires are concerned. It's pretty late order for Bosu to go to backup though, especially since he's already at 33%. Oh, now he went down to almost went down to 12th there, thanks to Tia Nuna on the stop. It looks like he managed to get ahead of that. Oof, Tia Nuna's down thanks to Takabayashi getting one over him. And now things are starting to really heat up in the middle here. We're gonna have to try and keep our drivers in for as long as possible. And then we're going to switch to wets, because I feel like it's gonna be a bit rainy around lap 16, just like the previous run. Perez at 13th, Vosu at 11th. Marsh blocking him. Takabayashi in the middle, stuck over there, and also playing safe. Everybody else ahead seems to be doing the same thing, trying to keep everything up on the line. Tire temperature is starting to be a bit of an issue now. Question is, can they keep it up here? 29% for Vosu, 39% for Perez. Perez about ready to jump over Takabayashi. Meanwhile, Vosu manages to snatch Marsh's position, but I don't think he can keep it out here. Yep. Those corners definitely not doing anything, and Takabayashi managed to take advantage of the problem here, and he's now at 11th, jumping one over both Marsh and Vosu on the way out. Griffin having some issues with his car as he goes for a pit with not just a tire change, but a request for repair. Teammates Vosu and Perez now 1 and 1 with 12th and 13th respectively at the start of lap 12. Perez is now down to 27% on tires. We might have to push him a bit further. Still no sign. Oh no, I think we are definitely in the mood for a tire change soon, going for wets. But we can probably keep Vosu in the running for a bit more, as long as we can keep the red away. Or at least keep it in 20%. We're pretty much good. Everybody else has changed out, though. Probably gonna have to change it around lap 13. Esteva just about ready to stock Perez here. Near the last chicane, approaching the start-end line. Now, I'm trying to decide whether we should switch up now or later. Well, I think we can go and put him in wets, actually. Then give him some extra fuel. Parts conditions are still okay, no need to worry about that. Keep it safe. I know it's going to be a bit risky, but... Now, Perez will try to keep it until the end of the dry run here. As we start lap 13, 10 laps remaining. Things will change up to wet conditions in a few. Just had to conserve everything here. Keep Vosu in a balanced run up. So he's going to drop to 15th out of that. Now, can Perez stay on the tire lane here for at least 2 more laps before we switch her over to wets? Or do we have 2? Vosu has now dropped down to 16th. Fortunately, that means he's going to be a bit on the low run here as we try to keep the tires safe. Perez still at 7th. As we start lap 14, just a bit more, we might have to see some changes here. Okay, we're going to switch her over to wet now because it's starting to look real wet out there. Fuel options, a bit of fuel. Parts, I need to Fix the front. That's what I need to fix. Keep it there. And safe. Marsh and Takabayashi having to change some parts on their end as well. Bosu keeping it conservative here in the rear. As we start lap 4... No, he's just starting lap 14 on his end. He jumps to 16th thanks to everybody switching out as well. Perez just about ready to go into the pit lane. Gonna lose her 5th place spot, unfortunately. But it's better to be prepared this time. Okay, it's probably a good time now to push everything ahead as we start to see some rain on the track now. Okay, looks like Perez is exiting at 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. He's exiting the lane on 9th at 9th. Okay, everything should be okay as we start lap 15. Wasu jumps to 14th as everybody else has split up. We did manage to keep the tires up okay on his end, yes. Fortunately, Perez drops 10th as she gets overtaken by Griffin, who's still taking advantage of the damp conditions. He uses softs. There's a good chance he will have to switch out soon, as the start of lap 16 is getting real wet. Esteva is now on top, with Vidal coming out of the pit lane. Fondi also getting ahead there. They're not going to last for long by the looks of it. Gonna have to push the tires a bit hotter soon. 16. Still some money there. Wasu drops to 15th, however, as Silvera gets ahead of her. Gets ahead of him, rather. Silvera is still pushing on the speed there, trying to get some time up as wetness is still not a factor, but now the road is starting to get real wet. El Sadat just about ready to stock here. Perez needs to get a push on here. Not exactly making the most out of the numbers. We might have to put her in neutral now. As we start lap 17th. Wasu still at 15th because of the Silvera lead, but Silvera is just about ready to switch out. That's Perez now in 3rd. Can she jump to 2nd at least? Not looking too good for Silvera. Wasu failing to take advantage of the jumps in the pits, and he's still in 13th. Gansler is somewhere in the 3rd here. Where is Gansler? Oh, Gansler's at 11th. If we can get past Gansler, there's a good chance we can keep him a bit lower and keep him away from Wasu for a bit more. Not looking too hot for Perez though. Esteva is just about ready to snatch it as she's pushing her tires to the limit here. Would probably push our tires as well. Keep them in orange for the time being. We still got a lot of racing left to do after all. Now we're starting lap 18. 5 laps to go. Fuel's still good on both of our drivers. Tire wear still pretty much manageable. Question is, can they keep it up until the end? Perez having a hard time keeping Esteva away from her. Sa way ahead of everybody else. There's a hard limit here. I don't think Perez has the power to get back on the race and take over Sa's position for that sponsor bonus. Esteva really really tightening the noose now as we start lap 19. 4 laps to go. Ooh, somebody's in the pit lane. Oh wait, no, that's Hornblatt still tired. Now we're really in storm conditions as everything is in the dark. Perez having a hard time locking in. Tire wear getting really annoying here for Wasu. almost 6 seconds behind Sa here, or rather, almost 6 seconds, yes. Okay, now that's a full 6 seconds behind Sa on that sector, and Perez still really having a hard time keeping Esteva away from her. Now we're starting lap 20. You've still got 3 laps of racing to go in this stormy Ardennes front. We're going to definitely miss our sponsor objective, but we're probably gonna get Perez some points up a bit higher. And we're still keeping our spot here in the team championship. Hopefully we can keep it that way. Maybe a good time as any to push Vosu up to the limit now. Where is he, by the way? And now the start of lap 21. 2 more laps to go. Vosu attempting to get one over Chu. Gets one over Chu right there. On the home stretch. Getting ahead on the straights. Can he do it? Nope. Oh, wait, he got one. He got one over Lopiclua. Tire is still decent. We've only got 2 more laps to go. Just keeping Perez on the same amount as we try to get one over Gansler. Vosu is just stalking his rival. If he can get one over here, he's going to grow his gap over Gansler a bit more. Garuda Racing with a good chance of jumping over to 4th, but Silva is about ready to lose it here. Chu just about ready to get... Chu trying to get back at Vosu on that way in. Now down to the last lap of the race. Perez definitely having a hard time getting past. We're getting close to Sa, unfortunately. Looks like we're not going to be able to see some good performance from her here. Once again, Chu jumps over to 12th. Vidal jumps to 3rd in the perspective lines here. Now we're in the final lap. This 2 drops even further to 13th as Gansler also gets overtaken by Chu. Gonna put him in high just in case. Now he's struggling to overtake Gansler on the way in. Nope, he couldn't keep it. Ooh, a bit of a tight squeeze. Gansler down to 13th, but this is a straight, and Gansler is really good at straights. Yep, pretty much. Perez, just a bit more. She's only got a couple more laps to go here. Can she stick it at 3rd? We just need her to stick it to 3rd. Just a bit more, Perez. Get us up there. Race is ending, and Perez manages to snatch 3rd in the race. Now, can Vosu keep Gansler away from him? Nope, doesn't look like he will. Oh, he manages to get one over Gansler, and his position is still pretty much assured as we end the race with a pole. We did miss our sponsor objective, however. Well, not pole, a podium finish. We did miss our sponsor objective, but that isn't going to matter much as we managed to keep our spot. I think the chairman will be a bit happy with the performance there. Just a bit. Thankfully, we didn't have to worry about the speeds because we only did 1 stop as is the usual, and we did it pretty late, just for the wets. Maybe we could have kept Vosu out on the field a bit more, but his tire wear was a little too bad, so... Let's see those reports. Scrutineering. No rules, thankfully. Gansler gets a point ahead thanks to the fastest lap bonus, though. which technically means he's tied for 11th with Lalpiclua. And Bossu is now down to 12th still. No penalties on anybody, but Hornblood had to retire due to a fire, so he doesn't really get anything but another point out on his race. Let's see what else is on the news here. Despite the poor performance, Vosu is still top of the box for the Drivers' Championship. 6 points ahead of Gansler this time, thanks to finishing ahead of him, although it was a bit of a close call, things considered. Meanwhile, Perez still finishes at 7th, keeping her position safe, despite the fact that she did get a podium finish. Ramsey, meanwhile, drops to sixth as Vidal getting a win in the Ardennes leg for this season propels him to third. Octane Racing really struggling this season, with both of their drivers still suffering from points here. Silveira, who was expected to perform a bit better this time, dropped down to 15th, just ahead of Schober, mostly because she still had the higher points before this one. Looks like Griffin from Zempelli is still having trouble. Tianuna couldn't take advantage of his good stops, and he's still down in 18th. Saw getting second here, managed to push her up to 8th. It's 2 points behind Perez, which is a bit of a problem. We did manage to snatch the team's championship, getting 3 points ahead of Silver Racing this time. But I think that's a good sign. Good support from the social here. Countess also a good boost here for the socials. That's going to help our marketing. Very impressive drive from Vidal indeed. Good stops all around. The many suspect that with a team's championship gap this small, the rivalry between these two teams will only continue to intensify. Yeah, really small gap here. Just 3 points ahead of Silver Racing, and Garuda is climbing up in the ranks. They're now 4th with 129 points. Just 8 points behind Vexala, which is a bit of a problem. Dragon Race Team doing well this season, currently at 6th. Definitely helped by their rookie driver, Takabayashi, who's doing excellent work out on the field. Although they did have some issues with the cars again. Poor Hornblood, though, that was a terrible, terrible run. 2 fires in a row? Not exactly a fun time. See how things are going to go for us. Because of that poor performance, driver morale went down a bit for Boss Sue. So is relationship with the mechanic. Nonetheless, I think that's going to be a bit helpful in the long run. And no change in everything else, though. Chairman's pretty happy. Okay, that's not... He got nothing to complain about, except for the balance. Now we're down to 4.6 million. World Motorsport Championship just finished in Munich. And in a surprise twist, Windsor Racing managed to snatch a 1-2 finish here, with Olga Makarova getting 8 and Zach Hamilton getting 6. Are they running on pedal bikes or something? That's an awful amount of time there. Scuderia Rossini gets 1 at least, with Barnaby White rounding up the podium for this one. Neither Lippinen nor Tanakuchi seem to have performed pretty well today. Lippinen is at 5th, and he's the only one who managed to score a point for the team. Tanakuchi is down on 11th. Not exactly a good sign for the driver. How about the European... Oh, this is the European Racing Series. That's us. Let's see what we've got here on the long run. Let's see what's on the news. Car condition update. We got 21% car condition drop for Bossu and 38% for Perez. Surprisingly, despite the fact that we did push the cars a bit too much, the drop was pretty low actually. Okay, what do they want? I really think Perez really did a lot of work for that one. 2 pit stops are fastest, but unfortunately 12 seconds, 7.8 seconds behind the season record. Thankfully, no mistakes this time, so that kept us up. Oof, Hornblood reveals aftermath of shocking fire. I think I know what this one is. He'll never be the same after suffering those senior serious burns. I'll never forget how being trapped in that seat felt like a glimpsing washout. He's gonna be traumatized for the next 6 weeks. His focus and morale are gonna be down. Definitely not helping Octane Racing situation even further, as well as his standings. He's currently dead last in the race. Okay, looks like we got another stormy run going in. Okay, car repair is complete. And expect it to be a stormy month, to be honest. Uh-oh. Gansler is retiring. Oh no, he's not. He's planning to switch teams. What? The news should certainly prick up the ears of a few team principals around the paddock. The jury is still out on 20-year-old's ability. The American driver certainly has some fans, but an equal amount of detractors, which may limit his chances of getting to a top team. Okay, car repair is finished, so they can probably... Oh, no. That's done. Now what do I want? Alright, improve the reliability of our spec parts even further, I think. What's the next one? It's going to be acceleration, deceleration, and medium speed corners, which means... Spec suspension... Yeah, I'll put that up. And up brakes as well. Can you also do gears? Okay, they can. They can work on that. Okay, we've completed the contract with one fixed payment sponsor. Brutus tires, $500, $500,000 up front, $100,000 fixed pay. Okay, we'll take it. Anybody else? Okay, Condor Telecoms is gonna end their support in 2 races, so that's gonna probably be a bit of an issue later on. Golden Tiger still has 3 races, and so is Trans-Antarctic. Hypertech is gonna keep us alive for a bit, I suppose. Okay, that setup is done. Let's save this for now. Let's see where we're gonna go from here. The engine is still a few days out, so we can't really work on that. 1 week, in fact. No need to scout for anybody, I suppose. Yeah, engine design is finished. Almost. Just 20 more hours. How's the car improvement going? 6 days before race, almost done. We'll just have to adjust the parts accordingly. I think we're gonna need a new front wing, though. A new good front wing to support the replace the average one currently used by Perez. Okay, what are they doing in Vancouver for this one? Asia Pacific Super Cup roundup. We got Thornton dominating with a 1-2. Hey! Oh no, I don't recognize that guy. Imanol Armoa for Kruger keeps it clean at 3rd. Perea also gets bonus points for being a pole position qualifier. Nonetheless, they're not breaking through to Krantz, who's currently ahead. 4 points ahead of Perea, but Perea getting pole finish here in Vancouver propels him to second. Fox from Team Keyta is nowhere to be found after that stunning performance from the previous leg. Is she, by the way? Ooh, dead last. Not looking too hot for the American. Yeah, they're picked. 7th best, sponsors 3rd best, staff 3rd best, headquarters 2nd best, drivers 8th best. Car is still 2nd behind Zampelli. Going to be a stormy weekend in Munich. Still setting up those. Okay, 17 weeks for the design center to be complete. At the staff. Where's my car? Just need a few more days to get these guys done. 94%, 95, 92, okay. And we can focus on getting that rear wing fixed up after the race, maybe. Alright, engine design is complete. We can improve reliability on this later. We can't really get that because that's a red. I think we're good enough for the current setup for the engines. So what I'm gonna need is a new front wing that we can actually use. So what do I want? Low speed corners, red zone. Low speed corners and let's take this. It's gonna reduce the reliability a bit. At least we can keep it. We can at least keep the parts well within reliable spots, since there's still the plus 50 on low speed corners. So as long as we keep the reliability up after we are finished building this, won't have to worry much. Hang on, 808,000. Yeah, sure. Then we'll use the rest of the money later to invest in illegal parts for next season. Okay, how's it going for parts improvement? Just a couple. So that's probably 60%. Then once we're done, let's try and see if we can get through Munich. I'm surprised we actually have 2 consecutive wet races this run. Crap, factory staff idle. Okay, with that in the way, I think you guys can improve the reliability of this thing. So the performance, what's on the news? Currently in 1st place, better than on target of 3rd. Let's hope we can stay that way until the end of the season. Longer races will likely aid the stronger team in the championship, as a longer timeline should theoretically allow the cream of the crop to rise. Former ERS driver Tommy Klein comments that he prefers to see longer races. There are no hiding places in a long race, and anything that allows the best team to show the quality can only be a good thing. Meanwhile, a report from Majima-san? Majima-san, why did you cut your hair? Okay, it's gonna be a 25 lap race. We can still probably do a 1-stop for that one. And lap records, 1 minute 26.5. No need to, we're not really focused on getting lap records, not exactly top of the priority. Luckily, some rain. All the crucial parts of this race are spec, so it should be an extremely close one. Tire compounds are soft and medium. Fairly good track for tire wear, and our car is pretty excellent at that. That's pretty much it. I don't enjoy saying this, but I think some of our teams in the European racing series have better race mechanics than we do. I know it's not always easy to find great new staff, but it should help us to improve our pit stops as well as the reliability and performance levels of our car. Already sent you guys stuff to do. Woodbridge and Stafford can still improve. I just need to know what can help them do that. There's absolutely nobody to scout for here. All the good staff have already been snatched up. Mm, he's got good growth, but her best focus is on suspension. Not exactly something we need right now. Suspension is stock. This one, Luke Savage has a lot of good spots on him, but he's only got good and great parts for known components. And I don't think he'd want to join us. Engine, gearbox, brakes, hair. Oh, this is a designer. Now we've got some improvements over him at least. Or maybe not. He's got better stats overall, but he doesn't have known parts for average. He also has the same performance reliability bonuses. Nope. Go back a bit. Let's see if we got any mechanics we can actually snatch. Fortunately, none of the good ones have become available, and the other ones are pretty much old. Jessica Legg, no, her pit stops are awful. Light-footed, nah. Super overtake mode, kind of risky. Wonder if we're gonna get a different set of mechanics in the next season if we're still running. Amelia Vroom. All right, now they're just having a little bit of a comedy run here. Quite the name, Amelia Vroom. Okay, refueling boost. This would be helpful in the long run. Overtake. There she is. Hang on a sec. Okay, we're pretty much on a tight leash here as we go into Munich with a not too solid but not too bad team. We could definitely use something better for our drivers here. But they're not much available right now, so... Oh, now our car is down to 4th best on the grid. Not a good sign. Vexala, Octane, and Zampelli have jumped ahead of us. Wait a second. Zampelli, Octane, and Vexala are all below us right now, though, so what's going on? Yes, yes, Chairman, I know the money is getting short. Watson Industries are expected to perform very well this weekend. Sue's lead over Gansler at the top of the championship, off the top of the championship, stands at 6 points, and the Silver Racing Man is hoping to cut the gap down this weekend. And he has a good chance to do that. I fancy Tia Nunes' chance of the weekend, to be honest. It'd be no surprise if he walked away with a trophy. He's an extremely strong driver. Speaking of which, what's his current position? He had Nunes down here, unfortunately, at 18th. He hasn't scored a win yet. His best performance overall for the season was 8th in Tondela. But he's suffering from resource hog issues because of his teammate. He got a handling development center boost, brake R&D facility. Why is our team not getting anything up then? No progress whatsoever in the boost ups. Is it because we don't have anything up there that could help them? I guess it is because we don't have the buildings. We have a handling development center, but it's not doing much. And we also have a brakes R&D, I think? No, we got a telemetry center, which is helpful for gearbox stuff. It helps improve smoothness and consistency, but it's not helping as much as I thought it would. Smoothness, consistency. No boost whatsoever. Oh, because his stats have peaked. Well, that sucks. I thought he was gonna grow even further, but looks like there's no change in that. Perez, though, still has some room for improvement there. Our focus is going up a bit, though that found religion bonus might disappear in a couple. She still has 12 weeks. I think we can handle at least 2 more races for her. Yes, Chief, I know you're concerned about the money, but we're getting it into the good stuff, so just keep a lid on it, will you? Let's see if we can get Munich out before we call it in for the night. Okay, run it. Oh no, do we have to go on the politics vote first? This rule will benefit average quality teams, which would include Vexala and Garuda, currently the top contenders for the championship, but will not benefit low quality teams like ZRT, Dragon Race Team, Licatelli, and Octane. I think I'm gonna go against this. I'm not too keen on extending the length of the courses as they are now. So abstained. Vexala goes 4, so did Garuda. They're using their double votes for this one. Zempelli did not. Looks like it's a win for the against side here. The nays have it. Two of the members jumping in with, two of the principals rather, jumping in with +2 on their votes. Yep. Next vote will be on the, probably towards the end of the season then. 56 weeks from now. I mean. Saving it in now that the votes are over. I think we're gonna have to go to Munich. The car is now dropped to 4th. Right. Team is now idle. Or no, they're gonna go through reliability for this one. Can't really use that though. Nope, we're not gonna use this anymore. So I think I'm gonna just queue up. Yeah, okay, sure. Let's queue up the rear wings. Okay, we're back here. Since there's not much to spend, I think we can go back to Condor Telecoms to get some money back here. Parts fitted decently. I think they're performing pretty well. Definitely use some performance boosts though. Just keep it safe. Weather is doing a number on my throat again. Not a good sign. Let's look at something here. Alright, let's see how things are gonna go. Our sponsor is once again Condor Telecom. See if we can get something out of that. Remember, it's 25 laps. All the parts are spec. So it's going to come down on teamwork, which includes driver performance and the pit crew. It's always down to the pit crew. A bit of a cloudy practice weekend. Doesn't look like it's going to be rough on the roads, at least for the first 6 minutes. I have to switch the tires over, though. Bit of an oversteer would be nice. Some more arrows, maybe. Switch over to sauce because I need you for speed. Oh, Bukalova will be handling Putting some more tires here and going for mediums. Let's see if we're gonna get something good out of this practice. Send him out, send him out. Okay, so the goal here is to get at least to lap 13 maybe? Or lap 14 if we're lucky. So we need them to get race trim level 3 so they can get the most speed out of their cars without having to worry about tire wear a bit too much. If the weather cooperates, there's a good chance we won't need to worry about tire wear even further, as the wet tires seem to suffer from, or rather degrade much more slowly now compared to at least 2 seasons ago. It looks like Wasu is loving the handling, and now they're starting their flying lap. Let's see if that setup knowledge jumps up further. No sign of a change there. Alright, Arrow's setup feels fantastic on Bukalova's part. A little too tight. Wasu not exactly getting the numbers he wants to. He says the handling feels bang on though. Fortunately, setup knowledge isn't really reflecting that, and he's still in low. Tihanuna jumping ahead, getting fastest lap here. Wasu drops to second, Bukalova down to fifth. Somehow I don't believe the feedback now. Bukalova's still pretty low on setup knowledge, so I think I'm gonna bring her in. Something's definitely wrong on our end. Oh, she's got excellent downforce, but her speed balance is definitely lacking. We need to get something out of that. Should probably get some more acceleration. I'm gonna put the acceleration a bit more balanced towards speed. See if things will change from that. Here comes Wasu at third. I'm really happy with the gear ratios. Might need to change that then. Tianun and Silvera are still showing some pretty nice chops there after that gap. 0.7 tenths of a second behind Tianuna. A bit of a tight lead for the local. Wasu jumps ahead this time. Looks like whatever he did in practice is helping him get some good boost. Now we're down to 5 minutes. Setup knowledge is still pretty low, however. Might have to bring him in to get some fixes up. Looks like his growth isn't exactly as fast as predicted. Chu performing pretty well despite the fact that he had to drop down to 7th. Silvera once again grabbing fastest lap here. Downforce and speed balance are great. Handling is excellent. If we can probably tweak it a bit more, there's a good chance we might improve his outward performance. Let's try and balance it more towards speed. Keep the same tires. How's Bukalova doing? Almost ready to get to level 2 race trim though. We're still a little over 3.5 minutes. A little under 3.5 minutes rather. Handling feels awesome right now. There's race trim unlocked. Could use better setup knowledge for both of our cars though. Bukalova just 16th, not exactly showing some pretty high spots there. Let's see if we can tweak her a bit more. Last 2 minutes of practice, still enough time to get... Her speed balance definitely needs some work here. The handling's okay. We probably need to make it a bit faster than somewhere around 38 then. I get 31. Let's see if it changes anything. Get Vosu back in. There's definitely a chance that we might have to switch him back to his previous setup because that might have affected his numbers now. Bukalov on the outlap. 1 minute to go in practice. I don't think Vosu will be able to switch out here. But he's at high setup knowledge, so that's going to help, I think. Let's keep him out on the road, then see if that changes anything. If anything else, we could probably go back to the first setup. And hopefully then out. Ooh, good jump from Bukalova there. She now has 2 green spots on her end. How will Vosu retaliate? No, not enough time to get the race trim to level 3. Since we couldn't get the setup knowledge time there. He still finished at second, though, despite the fact that we did have to do some tweaks that are not exactly within the plan. Just a bit more, we could have got him into race trim level 3, but we'll have to sell level 2 here. Man for life, I don't... Okay, Sandra, Miss Kraus. Okay, thanks for the support, I suppose. Shalatonov. Another Watson Industries fan there. Don't remind me. I don't feel like we got the right setup. Silvera, meanwhile, seems to be happy about her finish with she's the other Octane Racing runner here. They're pinning her hopes for her. Hopefully they can get up in the points table. Arnold Boycott. Quite the name. Here it is. It's starting to rain pretty badly. Let's see that road condition. Pretty much the same. So I think we're just gonna keep it as is. Higher engine modes no longer impact engine conditions. We can't use Vosu's top performing ability there. Performance increase to level 2, quick fixes. Yep, we're definitely gonna need to revert to the other one. Keep him in softs. Meanwhile, Perez will have to stick to mediums to stay in a race for longer. Too bad Vosu can't peak further. It would have been nice if we could get some more double numbers on focus. But I guess we'll have to make do, huh? Okay, if things are the same, there's a good chance that the weather will change around lap 19. We will have to wait until then. Everybody else seems to be on. Ooh, Lormore suffered some injuries from that previous run, and she's got a dodgy neck and looks like something else entirely on her face. Right, here we go. Remember, it's going to be 13 and 14 unless there's a bit of an issue with the... Keep it as is for tire push for the time being. Let's keep everything rolling as it is now. Just push the car further ahead and not go into the red. Oh, somebody ran wide. Somebody ran wide. Schober ran wide and got caught in the sand trap. She's currently in 17th. Too bad Vosu can't take advantage of that, huh? Yeah, they're getting some spots, or getting some stops on that slow corner and managing to jump to 14th rather. Whereas not being able to take advantage further, stuck at 12th. Pushing our cars a little further in might be a bit of a risk, especially when parts conditions are concerned. We'll just have to wait and see. No, Perez drops down to 14th as Gansler gets ahead of her. Ramsey also jumping in ahead. Oh, Perez managed to get back in there. Tianuna, Hornblatt, Silveira, and Griffith keeping the top 4 position for the first lap. As now we enter the home corner and start lap 2. Things looking too hot, not looking too hot for our drivers. Takabayashi keeping an 8th there, though. Definitely a lot of potential for the young Japanese driver, keeping Dragon Race Team in the high lines. There's Fonda just sitting next to him. Bit of an exchange there with Vidal jumping over Ramsey, going on 16th. Schoberg is still in the back, with Vosu now jumping ahead to 19th. But Schoberg's getting really close there. Tire wear, a bit of an issue once again. But we can probably keep it as it is with just a normal run, and then we'll push it a bit more. Sa and Gansler really blocking both of our drivers hard here. Nope, Perez almost lost it, but she managed to recover her 14th spot from Vidal, but Vidal still trying to get it close. Yep, there it is. Coming in on that very lazy hairpin, or rather S-turn. And now Perez is down to 16th, as Esteva jumps ahead of her as well. Ooh. Ramsey is now in the back there. Might have to push the drivers a bit more here, maybe? No, we can still keep it as is. I just need those tires to be a bit above cold. Now, Vosu is up to 18th. Perez stuck at 16th. Schober just about ready to jump over her. Esteva still in front, keeping Perez away from the higher up positions with Gansler and Vidal. We got Elsada, Takabayashi, and Elsada and Takabayashi rounding up the lower end here. Bilyu seems to be having some pretty decent runs so far. No issues with his car parts to worry about for the time being. Almost lost it to Schober. Schober's really aggressive here, trying to make up for that lost time caused by the wide corner turn at the opening of this run. Vosu gets ahead. Running it at start of lap 4 with a near collision with Perez there. Still a bit of a tight squeeze. Now Sa is almost ready to snatch 18th from Perez. Tire wear also having a bit of a run up there. Looks like we might have to push the tires a bit further just to keep them warm. We're way off target from the sponsor's objective, but still too early. A lot can happen in the race here in Munich now. 17th, 18th, Vosu and Perez, back to back. Gansler now down to 15th as Schober gets ahead of him. Ooh, Vosu almost got it, just couldn't keep it in the last corner, and now Gansler is breaking away from him. And Perez also jumping ahead of Vosu in the process. Question is, will they be able to keep the tires up here? Tire condition update, 65% for Vosu and 68% for Perez. Fastest sector unlocked. Oh, Vosu is about to lose his position to Sa. There he goes. He drops down to 19th. Assad takes over him on those consecutive turns. Now we're starting lap 6 with a pretty bad spot for Vosu here. Perez got a personal best there at 1 minute 35.3. That's not going to help much if it doesn't convert 2 places. Now Ramsey just about ready to get back into 19th spot. Ooh, that's a little too tight for them. Looks like Perez is just about... Yep. Perez just went down to 18th as Sa manages to sneak one past him. Perez says no thanks and tries to get back into 17th, but Sa manages to defend that. Now it's wheel-to-wheel racing as we approach lap 7, with Perez just getting an inch over Sa. Now Sa jumps over him, and Ramsey as well. Both of our drivers are now back in the rear. Looks like the tire heating is getting into it now, just as we approach lap 7. Dampness is almost gone. Looks like it'll be dry for the next set of laps. It might be a 2-stop race at this rate, if there's going to be a change in tire temperature. In the weather. Trying to conserve our tires. See if we can keep them alive for at least another, probably 3 laps as we approach lap 8. Parts condition update. Still pretty decent, but definitely need a fix on those rear wings. Both of our drivers are now at the tail end as everybody else is starting to break away up front. Perez seems to be having a bit of an issue getting into it. Not looking too hot for both of our runners here. But looks like we're going to see some changes in tires soon, as the top 4 are now down to probably an average of 30% on their tires. Tianuna up on the lead is down to 32. Silveira down to 16 is already going for a pit stop. Chu down to 24 and still in the running, and that scared me. Marsh, meanwhile, is also down to 24 and is down to 24. Sorry about that. Where were we? Alright, looks like Hornblatt is just about to... No. Looks like he won't be able to get some spots here as he is now in the pit lane request. Griffin, though, definitely in a good spot to get some steps here as he's still got 46% on his tires. Bondi has a 26, though, and might need to change that up. Now, Perez and Vosu still in the back here, but they at least get some points up as they get past Silveira. Wait, what? Just Silveira? Where's everybody else? Ramsey, Sash, El Sadat, Bilyu. Alright, only Silveira managed to go to the pit? What? That can't be right. Oh, and they canceled their pit stops and decided to stay in the front run for at least a bit longer. A bit of a bold move there, to be honest. Let's see how that goes for them through the rest of the next 3 laps, I suppose. Almost got an overtake on that run. Too bad they can't really stick the landing. Now Perez and Vosu are still behind everybody. At the start of lap 10, we've got 16 laps to go. We got everybody else getting pit laned here. Bit of a jump. 14 and 15 for Vosu and Perez. It's going to be a bit of a rundown as the other drivers are going for mediums. Looks like it's going to be an endurance run for the early pit stoppers here. We've still got 33 or 32% for Vosu and 40% for Perez, but that's not a good sign. Especially since we're trying as much as possible to keep him in the run longer. Why is Perez complaining about Vosu? Right, Vosu almost got a lead up over there to Ramsey. But Ramsey blocked him by a wheel on that last corner. Also getting some gaps out on the home corner. Sa having to be pit... Tianuna and Sa have gone for a pit lane stop here. Going for a bit of an early stop. While Su might have to switch wheels after the next two, as he is now down to 20% on his softs. Ramsey keeping him away from the 11th spot with a blocking position rear. Esteva also playing conservative with balanced wheels and a bit of a backup on the tire on the engine. Ooh! Just a bit of a block on the inside corner there from Ramsey, keeping him from keeping Vosu from getting a close-up here. Nope, not looking too hot for Vosu here right now. Whoa! Bit of a tight squeeze, but he did manage to get some spots here. Let's see if he can keep it. Right, his tires are now wearing down. Still a good amount of tire temperature, but we can send him on the pit stop now, and I think that'll be enough to keep him for the rest of the race. Keeping the fuel up on one drop. No need to switch that up. Okay, that's bad news. Looks like the risk of a mistake is very, very high, especially for refueling tires. So we'll just have to be very conservative with this one. Hopefully that'll be enough to keep him alive for the next run. Looks like we'll definitely have to switch around lap 18, though. Ramsey manages to keep Perez away from him, and he's keeping 8th. But Vosu's gonna lose his 7th spot here as he goes for a pit stop on the way in. Definitely have to push the tires a bit more now. Ooh! Almost! Almost got that. Now let's see if we can get away from Ramsey on this straight line. Definitely have to switch her over to mediums for the time being. Or we can probably put her to soft so she can get some speed up. And keep the fuel as it is. Probably fix... what should I fix? Anything I can fix that's not gonna eat the power up? Nope. Let's keep him at this rate then. Ah, refueling mistake! That's not good. Now Vosu is down to probably 15th at this rate. No, he's down to 17th, rather. Or 18th. Drop down even further than 19th. No conservative until we push further up. We'll have to push the tires up a bit as we get ready for a switch out to wets in a few. Hang on, let's see. Maybe we can put Perez in wets now, actually. Then we'll put her in the extra fuel line. Then we can probably fix the rear. Oh, we need to fix the suspension. No, the rear wing is the one that's having a bit of an issue right now, so that's gonna be it. Okay, keep it in mediums for the time being. But we got 12 laps to go. Push the tires a bit further since we're going to need to change in a couple. Ah, now another tire error. Let's switch them over now to wets. Keep the fuel as it is. Okay, quick switch there. Vosu is going to be up down to 20th though. Okay, keep the tires in conservative as we wait for the... We don't need to go out there anymore. We're just gonna stay on wets for the time being. Gonna be real wet after this. I know it's a bit too early for a pit stop, I think... no. Maybe we should have waited for a bit more. Let's see how it goes from here. Yep, here we go. It's gonna be raining in a bit. You know, put him on high now, I think. So we've only got a couple more laps. Oh no. Yeah, Nuna's now on the lead with Ramsey picking off. 10 laps to go here. I think we might have made a mistake going a little too early with a tire change to wets, but Ramsey has also switched out. No, there's a very good chance we might have to restart this. There it is. Lap 17 starting. We're nowhere near. How about everybody else? Are they pitting out yet? Nope, they're still on dry. Not too confident about this change, really. We've still got a couple of laps to go. We might have to be a bit more conservative with the engines. At least I think we can hold up for the tire wear thing. Keep them medium then? Then put the tires on neutral now that everything is starting to get real wet. The Schober in the pit lane. Everybody else is starting to go in the pits as well. Shoot, we might have to switch out after this. Or rather, we might have to restart. Got 7 laps to go. I think it's a good time as any to push the tires up. Push the engines up, rather. Hey there, Keyta. Thanks for dropping by. Currently not doing too hot in the second Munich leg of the 2024 season for the European Racing Series. There's a good chance we might have to restart this run. Nope. Couldn't take advantage of those stops, and we're still stuck in the back. Definitely have to switch out. I see. Looks like the spot person is getting really busy these past few weeks, huh? 6 laps to go. We're still in the back. There's a really good chance we have to restart. Dang. Do I really want to get a forecast center out? Feels like a bit of a waste on the money. Lap 21 starts, 5 laps to go. Yeah, no, I think I'm going to have to restart this run. Went a little too early on the stop there. Just have to... We'll probably have to keep them both in medium so that we can keep the tires a bit longer if the weather is still the same for the next run of this run of Munich, that is. Got one more chance to do this restart tonight. Otherwise, we might have to call it in for the night. So we need to get this done properly on this run. We've set up our Sponsors, yes. Since sponsor is currently Condor Telecoms, we got 393,000 on the bonus. If we get 4th. Oh, wow. So this game is basically just your pretty much a team principal trying to lead your racing team up on the ranks. You don't exactly drive the cars yourself. You're pretty much just there as the manager to tell your team what to do. So you set up practice runs like this. Adjust the tune up for your vehicle prior to a run to see if it will work properly. Then call in tell your team whether or not to switch out for a pit stop or let the other driver pass through, that kind of stuff. Pretty much, since you're playing in career mode, you got several years to complete this. It's not exactly a case of completing it. It's more like going as far as you can and trying to avoid losing funding because uh, you keep failing to achieve your setup objectives for the season. That's pretty much how it goes for this race. For this game, I mean. Let's see if this is gonna go. Time to practice again. Maybe this time we'll get race trim level 3. Simultaneous exit. It's again another dry practice. Maybe it's gonna stay dry for the rest of the run. Question is it going to be the same kind of weather situation on race day itself? It's so slow in real time because of the low power set up by the spec parts. Just have to go with 3 times 4 on the speed. Okay, they need stiffer handling apparently. Handling's poor, downforce, and speed balance definitely needs some changing. Handling's already stiff. Okay, that's that for Vosu. How about Perez? Perez definitely needs some speed, a bit more on the understeer. Some more acceleration though. And that's 2 minutes of practice time lost because we can't get the setup right. They haven't even reached level 1 race trim at this point. See if the change did anything. Go to times 12 on a time runner. Okay, nice setup, but setup level is still pretty low. But we haven't reached level 1 race trim at least. Right, that's level 1 race trim, but it's 6.5 minutes left in practice, and there's not much we can do with that. Come on. Worse handling, really? Getting anything out of that, then I think it's gonna be even worse. Handling is very poor, but everything else seems to be decent, so I think we just need to make it a bit softer. Slightly... Okay, keep it at that. Well, for Bukalova, you're gonna need a base. Bit more on, bit more downforce maybe. Please, please give me a better feedback on this. We only got 4.5 minutes left in practice and not much in setup knowledge. At least get us to level 2 race trim at this point. Okay, handling feels much better. Oh, setup is now high at least for Vosu. How about Bukalova? It's level 2 race trim. There we go. Can we get it to level 3 before the practice is over? We've only got 2 minutes left. We're still at 10% race trim level 3 knowledge. Bit of a jump there. Not quite a lot of rolling up there. Ooh. Okay, that's personal best. He's now up second on time. Bukalova's still at 11th, dropping rapidly, however. Let's see how it goes for this one now. Okay, handling's much better. No need to worry about the weather, at least. Now, practice is over. Well, Sue's probably gonna get second for the practice time here. Not bad, but could have been better, really. Fortunately, we still cannot get race trim up to level 3. Now Bukalova's stuck at 11th, also at second. Another fan for life. Okay, I get the support, but are you sure you want to do this with a middle of the pack team like Watson Industries? Gazzetta dei Motori. That's Lisa Amorosi posting for the Gazzetta dei Motori motoring magazine. Vidal definitely gonna nail it this weekend. Tia Nuna having both issues with practice and suffering from a cold. Right, looks like we got another wet early race here. It's another case of early dry or early wet that we can probably bypass with just a medium setup. Handling could have been better for Bosu, but it's not exactly working too good for him. Let's just go for medium. Keep it in keep it in a balanced run for now. Let's try and maintain endurance until we need to switch out on the long run. Okay, conserve and high. Conserve and high. Alright, here we go. Looks like Vosu managed to get some jumps out of that, and he's up to 18th as he takes over Vidal and Gansler on the outrun. Meanwhile, the Ramsey gets a ram up and takes over Perez's starting position. She's now behind in 16th, actually. Still a bit of a fight in the back, too, as Vosu is about to lose his 18th spot to Gansler once again. Ooh! Screw that. Gansler made a video game move and did a late braking inside corner overtake, jumping up to 15th. Make that 13th. Pretty risky driving from Gansler there, but nonetheless a very rewarding one as he is now up to 13th. Also down 19th. What happened? Oh, Vidal got left behind a bit. Bit of an early break for Gansler there. Definitely helping his spots up. Perez gets overtaken by Billiou. She's now down to 17th. Ramsey at 18th. Vidal gets one over Vosu, and he's now at 20th. Looks like keeping it at conserve might not be a good idea, so let's push the tires a bit further to neutral. 24 laps to go. Start of lap 2. We got Tianuna on top still. Tianuna takes over the lead from Hornblad, getting a 2-second boost ahead of him. Now things are starting to get a bit more damp here up front. Looks like Perez having a hard time getting past Chu. Vosu down on 20th still as Vidal and Ramsey switched places. Ooh, not a good spot there. Perez gets dropped down to 17th thanks to an overtake by Chu. Wait, what? No, that's the other way around. Perez gets over Chu on that outer corner. But she's now well behind El Sadat and Billiou. Vosu manages to get one, but over Vidal, but Ramsey is keeping him from getting back into 18th. Ah, that's two people getting ahead of him. Chu and Ramsey taking advantage of that wide open inside corner, leaving Perez in the dust there. Now that's Vosu and Perez, 18th and 19th. Make that 18th and 20th as Vidal jumps over to 19th on the home corner as we start lap 3. We might have to push the tires a little further in, but that's probably just because it's getting a bit too cold because of the rain. There we go. Now they're down to 19th and 20th with Vidal getting ahead of both of our drivers. Vosu getting some power up on the straights there, now switching places with Perez. Perez, meanwhile, getting left behind out here. As we start lap 4, Vosu leveraging his speed boosts here thanks to the better condition of his parts. Now he's up to 18th, getting over Ramsey. Not much of a change in 2 laps for the top 4, meanwhile. But Gansler is currently at 11th thanks to that early overtake and is poised to break into the top 10 for this one. Ramsey just rammed Vosu out of the road there, snatching 18th on that straightaway with a tight overtake. Okay, now go down to neutral. Still looking too good, and still looking pretty good for both of our drivers. Or still not looking pretty good, actually. Ramsey still keeping a good block on Vosu here. I'm still waiting on that weather report about whether we're going to have another late race rainstorm. Fortunately, without a more advanced weather forecasting center, we can't really do much. But pray that it doesn't change out here, as we're now down to 20 laps. Starting at lap 6, and we're still on the tail end of this convoy. Despite the fact that we're pushing our cars to the limit here, Perez already down to some pretty nasty numbers on her parts. Vosu still near a 90% average on his. Ooh, almost got an overtake there for Perez. Just couldn't snatch it at the last second and losing it at the acceleration on the outside. Now there we go with Tianuna snatching another fastest lap bonus as we start lap 7. First, Gansler drops down to 12 as the rookie Takabayashi gets a jump over him. Vidal drops down in 19th thanks to an aggressive drive from Vosu. Perez needs to work her way through the lines as well just to get back into it. Almost done with the first third of the race, and things are starting to get thin up front. Tires are probably down average 40% for the top 4 racers here at the stop lap 8. Perez complaining about being unable to get past Ramsey. Ooh, almost got that. Too bad she couldn't get the brakes done right. Chu and Elsadot switching places up front. What the heck? Elsadot getting thrown off into the green here. Bit of a risky run for the teammates. Meanwhile, Bulyu stuck in the corner there, getting overtaken by Chu, and he is now down to 16th rather. Perez still having trouble getting past Vidal as we now approach the start of lap 9. And we're seeing to start some breakaways here as we have 17 laps of racing to go. Looks like Silveira is now in the pit lane. Some parts that need fixing. Hornblad getting a bit luckier up front, but he's now down to 21% on tires. Not gonna last much longer than that by the looks of it. Only one spot of a change for both their drivers, thanks to Silveira getting caught in the pit stop. We still got a good number on both of our tires as far as wear is concerned. And we're still pretty decent in the run up here. So we could probably keep the tires up at least until maybe the 16s. Then we'll switch them over to some speed tires once we get an opportunity. Now jumping over the previous 4 race leaders, though Tianuna is still up front. Wasu's now down up to 12th, Perez at 14th. Gansler up to 6th. Pretty good chance for him to take the top spot again. Unless Vosu manages to make some places here. We still have the sponsor objective to worry about. Vosu's complaining about Ramsey this time. Perez still having issues with taking over Vidal's spot as we approach the start of lap 11. Bit of a jump for both of our drivers. There's 4 more of the former race leaders going to the pit lanes. Still no change here. No ability to overtake. Almost ran into that. Now Vidal is getting a bit hanky-panky with Vosu's rear end and getting ready to get an overtake. Although he's been ordered to slow down a bit by the looks of it so that he doesn't have to push too far. Let's keep the engines up. I think we can still keep the push mode over. Now approaching the end of lap 11, we are now 14 laps away. Looks like Lapaclua had to switch up as well. Our tires are still pretty decent, all things considered. We just need to get closer and probably snatch a lead up. But I think it's going to be... oh no. We can probably stay for a bit longer. Maybe have to back up the tires. Since there's going to be a bit of a change around lap 16, we'll have to keep the tires a bit. Vidal is now at 30%. We jumped to 5th and 6th because of the early switch-outs there. Fortunately, Vosu can't keep it with Vidal still ahead of him. not too keen about the tire wear, and we still got a couple more laps to go. I think I'm going to keep Perez down here, as well as Vosu, for another 2 or 3 laps, and then we'll switch him out. Perez will definitely have to switch out, though. Switch out first, that is. It's not good. Keep it conservative. Going to be a bit risky with the tires here. Question is, will they be switching out now, or will they stay in the road for a bit longer? Lap 12, 13, 14. I think I can switch Perez out now, at least. Switch her over to wets and give her some fuel boost. Parts condition update. Yeah, I think we should get the brakes up instead. Keep it safe. No, keep it balanced. I think there's too many unknowns. Keep it safe. Vosu will have to hold on for a tad bit longer. As we try to keep the tires up for the next 2 laps. Perez is now down to 5th, mostly because she needed to fix stuff out there. Now we're switching out to wets here. Keep it a medium. Now she's behind Fundy. Or Billy, rather. Okay, looks like Lorimore is also switching out. I think it's a good time as any to switch out as well. Going in, switching over to wets, giving Vosu some fuel. Can't really fix this one unless we want to lose some time. Okay, let's see if we can keep her up and alive here. Probably push her to high now. Get that fuel back up quick. Ooh. Bit of a risk there. 10 laps to go. Can't get past her. Perez is now 19th. Vosu is 15th. We try to keep him in conservative for the time being while we wait for the track to get a bit more wet. Looks like we're not just the only ones on wet, though. Lorimore also went out on wets here, but she got a bit faster than us because of a better pit crew, so she's ahead. There's Takabayashi trying to get fancy in the back here. Now 9 laps to go. I think it's a good time as any to go back into neutral for this one. At least neutral. Now let's see if we can actually try something funny here. Vosu at 14th. Perez down to 20th. Now she's up to 18th at least. Getting ahead of 3 people on the pit lanes. Or 2. Yeah, 3. She's up to 17th. Vosu at 19th. Tire wear not looking too hot for both of our drivers. Might have to push our tires a bit more, maybe not. Well, we could probably push Vosu up a bit. Who's Ganser? Ganser is at 10th, Vosu's 15th. Push it a bit further up. Now we've got 8 laps to go. Okay, now keep it in neutral. Tires, the road's getting a bit damp now. Bit of risk there. Takabayashi now ahead of Vosu. Perez probably going to take over Chu's position. Hopefully, yep. Chu is now behind, running on wets here. Trying to be a bit conservative with the tire wear. Still a bit too far. And there's a good chance Watson Industries will definitely drop here. 7 laps to go. And we need to take advantage of people taking a pit stop. Ooh, right there. That's what I'm talking about. Vosu is now in third. Perez could probably jump in here, at least get something up. And now she's up to ninth. Good stops there all around. Gansler's still in second, though. Very good chance for him to get ahead. Alright, here's hoping we can actually bring it home with Vosu currently on third and in pretty decent form, but we've still got a lot of racing to do. And Perez is still in ninth. Tire wear is also a problem because we did come out early. So we're trying to keep a decent balance on pushing the tires forward and keeping them in good performance as we try to break off stuff. Tia Nuna has just gone into a pit lane, but we're too far out to take advantage of that, as you can clearly see. Yep, Tia Nuna's a little too far out. Started lap 20, 6 laps to go. Lormore still ahead of everybody. El Sadat just about ready to go into fourth. Okay. I'm keeping neutral for both. No. Wasu could probably go for neutral now as well, since he's in a decent spot tire-wise. We still got 6 laps to worry about. I think we got the fuel for it, mostly. We have to go for mediums for the time being, just to conserve that. Keep it at this distance. As long as El Sadat doesn't get past us, we can probably keep the numbers here. But Perez is a bit of an issue because Lalpeclua is just behind her. We got 5 laps to go. Not exactly too hot for Perez here. But we can still keep up our spots a bit. As long as Perez gets one more run here, there's a good chance we might be able to get through. But personally speaking, I'd rather finish the season on second right now, since we don't have enough in terms of buildings or building upgrades. I still need the money for upgrading kit, or upgrading our kit. So getting a promotion this early in the run will not be a good spot for us. Well, it's not early in terms of game times, as the start of the career mode is 2016, but rather I'm talking about how early we'll get promoted as far as our base performance is concerned. We're down to 4 laps. We can probably push it a bit more from here. Probably. No. El Sadat's already sneaking behind Wasu here. Not enough speed. I think he's gonna lose his podium spot. Where's Gansler? Gansler's at 12. Push the tires a bit more. Hang on a second. Come on, Vasil. We've only got 3 laps to go, rather. Gotta push those tires a bit more. Push the tires up while keeping it at neutral. El Sadat has it on reverse as well. Only has enough fuel for the rest of the run. Perez still keeping it 9th, though. Not exactly a good thing, but not a bad thing either. Now, if she can take advantage of her runs here, there's a good chance she might get some more points in. She's going to drop to 9th after this, I think. Oh no, she's going to keep her 7th spot. But she really needs more points so we can get some more numbers in. How further are we? How much further do we have to go? 2 laps to go here. Keep it there. Perez still at 9th. Chu and Billy are having a bit of an exchange over here on the back. Gansler down up to 4. No, Gansler's down to 14th. That's going to increase the gap between him and Vosu as Vidal has a chance to take over to the second spot. Now we're approaching the last lap of the race. Can we push it? She's been stuck behind Hornblatt for 2 laps. Approaching the last lap of the race here. Lormore and Tianuna still up on top. There's no chance we'll be able to get there to overtake them. I'm not in the mood to push this car further than push, because if we go for overtake, we're going to lose all the fuel we have left. We can probably attack the tires, though. Oh, that's going to be a bit late. At least we can keep them away from the... we can keep El Sadat away from the top 3, while Perez will have to stay in top 9. Yeah, ooh, Griffin ran wide. That's not a good sign for Zampelli. Perez couldn't make it through. Unfortunately, she'll be stuck in 9th, but that's going to be helpful for us as she keeps... Oh, no, she drops to 8th because Billy got ahead of her. Tia Nunes scores a win for the season. That's going to be enough to put him ahead on the box lines. Let's look at those post-race results, shall we? Tianuna did 2 stops, but still managed to keep ahead of things thanks to sticking to soft tires. Fortunately, because we kept things at medium, we did have the endurance, but we didn't have the speed. So Vosu being able to stick it at doing it at 1 stop as well as Perez means that we had to sacrifice some speed to maintain our positioning. Though that did not help Perez in the end game as she drops down to 8th in the overall driver standings. Nonetheless, that does not affect our current standings in the team championship. Hopefully. Oh, Tia Nuna gets extra points for fastest lap, though. That's going to be a bit of a pain. Yep, another podium finish for our driver here. Now it's Vosu after Perez getting 3rd last time. Because of the boost for Silva, ZRT, and Vexala, though, Perez drops down to 8th. 75 points. Gansler having a bit of a poor showing this round, drops him down to 3rd, with Vidal jumping ahead to 2nd. Nonetheless, they're still two digits behind Vosu with 99 points. And we're still pretty much at the top of the standings, 174 points. Tickets for a tour at the Watson Industries HQ, where there's still some construction work being done. Tianuno getting a big fan shout out here. I haven't seen this one in a while. Watson Industries suck. I know they did well today, but I don't care. They suck, lol. Right, let's hope that does not affect driver morale much. Perez did have to drop to 8th, so there's a good chance that she will lose some morale and some mechanic. Oh, she didn't. Despite the drop, she still managed to keep her morale and her mechanic relationship up. Wasu still needs some work here, though. Chairman's pretty happy about that, and we also got the bonus. Which means, yeah, 495,000 back in the bank. I'll take it. Meanwhile, in Cape Town, looks like Rossini got one over their rivals, with Parisi getting first right over Tanakuchi. That's not enough to get into the top two, as both Lipinen and Tanakuchi still have the 1-2. And it looks like B White went down to 8th after Parisi scored first here. Sonikov gets rounds out the podium for this leg, getting 3rd. Still not enough to put Kitano Sport up further. He's stuck at 6th. Ish. Can't believe I lost to somebody who was suffering from a dodgy neck. And again, I think Lormore is better. Wait, she's a reserve driver. So why is she leading the drive here? What the heck's going on? Let's check the status on that. Okay, front wing's done. Let's check some notes first, and then no. Let's look at the team standings there. She's apparently the reserve driver for Garuda. Excuse me. Wait, but Falco Engelhardt is here, so why is it always Lormore on drive roads? Selfless and a resource hog. That's great. That's real great. Look at the stats on these drivers. Look at that. So why is the reserve the one doing the driving all season? Okay, let's go into the news. Mission update. Vosu dropped to 36%, or dropped by 36, while Perez dropped by 39. That's a run down. Guess we pushed them a little too far. And not much of a change in morale there. Fastest stop was 9 seconds slower than the record. No mistakes, despite the fact that there was a high chance of a mistake there. Front wing is complete. I think we can use that. Let's see if we can. Front wing. Yeah, we can. We definitely can. Let's give her a better front wing this time. This one is average. Fortunately, I don't think... No, we can push it a bit further. Yeah, definitely push it later. And then we'll make another illegal front wing, maybe? Let's see. Parts that we have. I guess we can afford to lose at least one... or drop in rank at least once, so that we don't get promoted, and then we still make some money out here while everything is in spec parts mode. I don't want to be promoted right now. So I need to work with... Wait, hang on. Engines can be great. A great engine could work, probably. So top speed... top speed... Another spot I can use. These are all... That's an extra cash bin. Go for top speed plus 50 on soft supers and ultras, and then build time 1 day, or we can boost top speed to max. Current best. Current best is that high. fine. Let's go with this one. Wait, do I? No, I don't need great parts right now. What I need is for this to be good for next season, right? I think we can work with this engine right now? Question mark. Our current engine is decent. Then we can top speed, top speed, top speed, top speed. Make it for next run. 70 to max. Sounds good, all things considered. Let's build this for next season as well. Oh, that's a lot of money. Oh, I wasn't paying attention to that at all. Well, whatever. Else on the news? Anything else? Nothing. Okay. Let's just get the car repairs done, and then we'll queue up... Oh. Car repairs complete. Let's queue up some tune-up work for the other parts. And extra reliability for this front wing. Get some work on that as well. And doesn't look like there's anything else. I think with that out of the way, we can call it in for the night, I suppose. Let me just save this right quick. Well, that was a bit too close for comfort, but nonetheless, we did manage to get some pretty decent runs out of that, despite the fact that we did have to suffer from the wets here. Looks like the next run in Guildford is going to be a bit wet as well. There's a good chance it might dry up before the race is complete. Nonetheless, thank you so much for dropping by. Did manage to get some longer stream time for this one. Hopefully, we'll continue this until the end of the year. Actually surprised we managed to get some pretty good runs out, despite the fact that we did suffer from some issues with reliability and all that, and we actually had to run back both stages because we had some errors that I did not want to add to my record. So that could have been helpful if we wanted to stay in the European Racing Series and avoid promotion. We'll see later on if we can do something about that. Any hoot. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, to be honest. Just keep an ear out for that. There's a good chance I might go back to drawing just to shake things up a bit. So we might go back to Red Alert Remastered as well and try to get some of the Soviet campaign missions done and dusted. For the time being, though, if you've got any complaints or violent reactions about the stream tonight, I'd really appreciate it if you drop me a line on my Twitter or my Pixiv. If you got a hankering for the older Motorsport Manager streams that have already expired here on Twitch, or you just want to see some of the older streams we've already done, besides Motorsport Manager, I'd really appreciate it if you click the link on the About tab, click the link to the VOD archive on the About tab of my profile page, which is also searchable on YouTube under the same name, Lurk at Work. By the way, if you're currently watching the VOD, thanks for dropping by. If you got any complaints about anything that has happened tonight, please drop me a comment in the comments tab below this VOD. Hope you come back for the next few VODs that are still around. And well, it's going to be a bit more of them in the future, I suppose. Anyway, if you got a friend who might be interested in the stuff I stream or just wants to complain about PNG streamers in general, really would be grateful if you shared my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/lurkatwork. That's all from me for now. Once again, tomorrow there's a very good chance that I might not be able to play anything and could be doing some drawing stuff. we'll just have to see. Keep an ear out in the socials for any updates on that. For the time being, though, uh, if you got if you're still in the mood for another stream, somebody on my recommended channels list is currently doing a horror stream. Looks like they're playing Silent Hill 2 Remastered, apparently. Let's see if I can send you over to that if you're still in the mood for something to watch. If you're not, though, and you're heading out for a night, I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. As for me, work is RTV. I need to get a bit more of an extra recharge. Ran a bit too much earlier. Definitely need to get fixed before we start the new week. Well, that's all from me. Thanks again for dropping by. Keep an ear out on the socials about what's gonna happen. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and if you're currently ready to raid, just stand by. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Good night, everybody.